Philip, clearly, dangerous, dramatic scenes today in the Sudanese capital. What do you make of what we've been seeing?
Well, we have two opposing sides here, Nadia. The first one is the military, which has taken power, which seized power last month. There has been a power-sharing arrangement in Sudan since 2019 and the overthrow of Omar al-Bashir, the former dictator who ruled the country for over 30 years. Nobody in Sudan really wants to go back to that period under Omar al-Bashir. That was brought down by riots in the country over food and bread and prices. So this time around, what do we have? We have a civilian government, a military civilian government, which has been brought down by the military just last month. Military have seized control, and what they're saying is that it hasn't been working over the last couple of years. There has been an increase in prices, there's been an increase in corruption, there's been an increase in inflation, and that is why they say we had to end this power-sharing agreement called the Sovereign Council. So the military has seized power. The military leader is Abdel Fattah al-Burhan. He is the man who's running the country. Now, since that happened, he said, I'm going to move towards free and fair elections in Sudan, and I will not head any type of ruling regime until that happens. He's already gone against that promise because he's recreated a new sovereign council, as I was just saying, and appointed himself as the leader. And in that new sovereign council, there are only the former military leaders. All the civilian leaders have been kicked out. And the former prime minister, Abdul Hamdok, is still under house arrest and is trying to be egged on to come back into that transitional council, but ruled by the military. He hasn't done that so far. So that's the situation we have today, and the population saying that they really badly want a return to that transitional council and civilian rule, which is why we've seen these protests today, these protests which have turned violent. We have deaths, we have dozens of people who've been injured by bullet wounds. So the situation doesn't look as though it's going to calm down anytime soon.
And Philip, walk us back a little bit. These protests have been going on for weeks, but really the crisis in Sudan has been going on for years now. How did Sudan get here?
Well, the country is incredibly poor, and there have been riots sporadically over the years. It was only the riots in 2019 which brought down the former dictator Omar al-Bashir, which brought in all this hope of a bright future for Sudan. It opened the door to Sudan being taken off the list of sponsors of terrorism in the world. It opened the door to aid coming from the World Bank, from the European Union, from the United States. All of that's been flowing into Sudan since 2019. So a lot of hope that the future was going to be a lot brighter for the people of Sudan than it has been over the past 30 years under the rule of Omar al-Bashir. That has all come to a sudden stop since this military coup a couple of months ago. And just to give you a few figures, the country, 36% of the Sudanese live in poverty, 25% live in extreme poverty. So there is a lot of anger about what is going on, and a lot of hopes have been dashed by the fact that all this money that was due to come into the country is now literally stopped, and that the ruling military doesn't seem to know exactly what it's going to do to get that money back in.
Philip Tell, thank you very much indeed.